In software engineering, security is one of those tricky, almost mystical subjects that many of us shy away from, hoping that someone else will take care of it, or even better, it will take care of itself. Sort of like character encoding. For some, that may work some of the time, but sometimes we just have to roll up our sleeves and deal with it. Some will ask, is Eiffel really secure? That is actually the wrong question to ask, though, for several reasons. One reason is that security has very little to do with the protocol itself. You may as well ask whether English is a more secure language than French. The correct question instead is whether you handle your communications, be they in English, Eiffel, or French, in a secure manner. The second reason is that security means several things. In literature, you will find security described as consisting of a triad of key concepts: confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA for short. Confidentiality is what most people think of when they think security. The information is not made available to unauthorized individuals or entities. If you need to ensure confidentiality, the way to do it is to encrypt your data and/or protect your communication channels and data storage from unauthorized access. Availability means that the information is available to those who need it and are authorized when they need it. This is not a property of the language itself either. If I write you a message on a piece of paper, but you didn't catch the message because I never gave you the paper, then it doesn't matter which language I wrote the message in. No language or protocol in the world can make itself magically available to the recipient, unless there are adequate means to communicate it. Then there is integrity. Integrity is about preventing unauthorized or undetected manipulation of the information, assuring both its accuracy and completeness. This cannot be ensured by the protocol either, but it can be facilitated. So how does Eiffel do that? Most software engineers are familiar with checksums. Checksums can be produced by various hash functions, some more simplistic than others. A cryptographic hash function is a hash function which cannot be inverted, that is, you cannot recreate the input, often called the message, from the output, often called the digest. These hash functions are also deterministic, which means they always produce the same digest from the same message, and they are designed to be cascading, so that a minor change to the message will result in a major change to the digest. Last but not least, it is very, very difficult to find two different messages which produce the same digest. All this means that if the sender and the recipient of the message both compute the digest and compare the result, they can verify the integrity of the message. But you can't just attach the digest to the message, because if I were a malicious man in the middle, I would just change the digest to match the manipulated message, and the recipient would be none the wiser. That means for every message you would need to also communicate another message, that is, the digest, over a trusted and secure channel. This becomes very awkward, so we clearly need a more convenient solution. What if we attach the digest but encrypt it first? As it turns out, this solves a lot of problems and is at the heart of what is called the strong distribution model. In it, you use an asymmetric key pair of one private and one public key. The public key is public, and anyone who has it can decrypt the digest and check the integrity of the message, but only someone in possession of the private key can produce the exact encryption that will then be transformed by the public key into a correct digest. In other words, when John receives a message which is supposedly from Jane, he can use Jane's public key to decrypt the digest and see whether it matches the message. If it doesn't, then either the message has been corrupted, or it has been authored by someone else, or both. Eiffel supports this data integrity scheme by providing optional fields for author identity and encrypted digest. They are optional because we don't want to force this onto anyone, but for those who need it, there are ready properties to use. And the fact that they are optional isn't a problem. It is always up to the recipient of an Eiffel event to determine whether to trust it. If an event is received which does not contain an encrypted digest, though the recipient thinks it really should, it's probably a good idea to discard it. Hopefully, this screencast has answered the question of whether Eiffel is a secure protocol for you. If you have any other questions or suggestions for improvement, please reach out via Google Groups or write a GitHub issue, or why not attend our next Eiffel Summit in person.